Welcome to the Manager Matt's Friday Thought. Now, we haven't had a Friday Thought for a while, have we? I mean, it's going back some years since I took a bit of time doing the Friday Thought. So I thought, because it's Friday, and sometimes I have thoughts, I'm going to have a quick Friday Thought. And currently, this time of year, I've been doing a lot of interviewing. So I've been doing interviewing to recruit, and I've also been doing interviewing to find roles for myself. And I sort of got into the point of thinking, how many of these questions in interviews are so lazy, so ill thought out, and you're just meh. And, you know, when you're on both sides of it, I've used them, and I'm sure you have, and I'm sure you've heard them. But we're going to have to try and break that out, because some of these interview questions, I just don't know what the person were thinking. So let's give you an example. Why do you want to work here? And at the back of your mind, when you hear that question, why do you want to work here? You want to go, because I want to get paid. Now, of course, that's not the answer anybody says. But let's be honest. You are not going to be sat there in an interview for a job unless you want to get paid. Now, okay, there's some voluntary stuff in there. Yeah. But most of the things that you're going to do, you want to get paid. You need money. Because why? Well, you need to buy things. Sometimes it's nice things, sometimes it's food, and sometimes it's just keeping that roof over your head. So why do you want to work here? What a lazy question. You know, a better question is, look, you've come to me and you want to get this job, and what really drives you? What really makes you tick? Not why you want to work here. So if you've used that one in the past, don't use it again. Next one I hear a lot, tell us about the company. Right, okay. If you're old school and you're a bit like myself, you might be like, oh, you know, in the old day you had to do proper kind of revision. You had to go out and find it and really dig in to try to answer that. Nowadays, you put a search in Google, you use your AI tools, you'll know everything about the company. You would probably know more than the person asking you that question. Tell us about the company. Well, if you don't know about the company, mate, you know, you maybe should have asking yourself that question. So, better one is, tell us about the sector that you want to work in. Tell us around it. What really drives you to want to work in this sector? What's the thing that gets you here and out of bed? Not just the money, because you can say that to the person, but what really makes you go? Because the company, they'll come back with, oh, well, the company was set up in so-and-so, and it used to be this and used to be... You don't want to hear that. So let's not be lazy with those two questions. And what's another one I've heard, which is bizarre? And I've only heard this. I've never done this myself. I've never said this because I would never do it. But what kind of animal are you? And that just blows my mind. It's like, what? What kind of animal am I? Yeah. So I think it's meaning to come over as, you know, it's not. The person's not trying to like hire you unless you're going to work in a zoo. Let's rephrase that. If you're working in a zoo, they might want to know what animal you're working with. But I don't know what it is. I think it's kind of just to be quirky, a bit funny. I think it's to try to kind of make you come out as, you know, what animal you could be. I mean, if you're coming back with a, you know, I don't know, I'm a border collie because I'm loyal and focused and I'm happy. It sounds like something you'd have on a game show, but it's just a silly question. I know it's supposed to be light-hearted, so, you know, don't take it too serious. And don't come back with something like, yes, I'm a black widow. Yes, I lie in the side and I attack my co-workers, because you're definitely not going to get the job doing that. But those are three of what I consider as lazy questions that you might get asked in interviews. Now, we know interviewing is very difficult. We know it's quite time-consuming. One last tip before we move on, because the Friday Thought is shorter than my normal shows, is if you are going to interview someone, do some of the basics right. Turn up on time. You know, if you're online, don't let the person wait in that waiting room on Teams. Be on time. It's rude. It gives you a bad impression. Do some reading on the candidate. The number of times I've been interviewing, and I can tell that the person who is interviewing me, hasn't even read my CV, because they're asking me questions that's blatantly in the CV. So take the time, if you're hiring, read the CV, make sure that you're not just getting that person there to be a number exercise. Make sure that you really want the person before you interview it. I've been on interviews recently where I haven't got the role, and it turns out that it was an internal person had it, and I was almost there as a filler. There's nothing more unprofessional to get a person as a filler. If you want that candidate and you've read the CV and you're going through it, then brilliant, get them interviewed. If you're just using it as a filler, don't waste the person's time, because that's the worst thing you can do. It shows you as a professional are not very professional, and it doesn't give your company much like. it must be enjoyable. It should be enjoyable. When you're interviewing someone, it's having a conversation. It's enjoying that person's company for that 40 minutes. It's learning about what that person's been doing. And you've got to think to yourself, could that person work for me? And if it's yes, then great, it's a good time. And the interviewing, it's both ways. It's about them finding out what you tick, but also you to ask those questions about what the company tick. So don't be too scared of it. If you want to listen to more about interviewing, there's quite a few on the Manager Matt site. If you want to go down and have a listen to some of the other ones about interviewing, there'll be some more coming up around how we interview in the next few weeks. And if you like what you hear, go have a listen. If you don't like what you hear, then hey, it's free anyway. You've not wasted much of your time. Well, that's it for Management this week and the Friday Thoughts. Thank you so much for listening, and goodbye.